Missy Sullivan is here to tell us about sort of how a lot of the specialists get referred to us, and many people may not know. So this is a very interesting story you have. Tell us what's going on, sort of a new business that's emerging.
Yeah, I have a very surprising finding, and that is, you've been to the doctor's office and you've seen that sort of Natalie-dressed guy or gal with the rolling cart, right? And they've got their pharma samples, or they've got a medical device. Well, increasingly, those folks are now representing other doctors, specifically specialists who are looking for referrals from family doctors and primary care doctors. That's where they get 70% of their patients.
So when most of us go to a doctor and we might get referred to a specialist, a lot of time we assume it's because our doctor has intimate information about that doctor. He's seen his work. He knows that he's had good outcomes. But you're saying now that necessarily isn't the case.
No, what this opens up really is for doctors to refer to other physicians that they've never even met. Maybe they are hearing about them from a wonderful, very articulate rep who has a nice spiel, who has a nice set of brochures. Sometimes they bring them in for what they call lunch and learn, so they can meet face to face. I actually got to follow reps around the country and to go with them, as they made their rounds, cold calling the doctors. I went to a couple of these lunch and learns. We would sit in a waiting room, actually sit in a patient exam room with the food laid out on the paper on the exam table and wait for the doctor and wait and wait. And then they'd come in and they'd talk a little shop and talk a little business and, hey, how's it going? And sometimes they were more interested, the doctors who were sort of being pitched to were more interested in marketing themselves.
And why is this growing? Why is this a growing niche sort of marketing industry?
Well, it's no longer if you heal them, they will come. It's a very tough business now to be a doctor. There's shrinking reimbursements. The cost of care is rising increasingly. And then there's this whole big boxification of the medical business, right? And so hospitals, what they're doing is they're buying up all these doctors, and they're the ones sort of leading the charge on this marketing world. They're the ones who have the most to gain in terms of a pipeline of patients not only going to other in-system doctors, but to their ORs and to their radiology labs. Right. So they've sort of set the tone, and the independents have to follow.
So what should patients do?
Patients really need to know who they're being referred to. So they need to ask their doctor, how do you know this doctor? How do you know this physician? Have you worked with them? And beyond that, there are ways they can research them themselves. They can go on websites like Castle Connolly or Certification Matters. Find out if they're board certified. If you really want to get wonky about it, see if you can find out what they've published. But most important, find out from your doctor what it is they know and whether they've worked with them.
And why they're referring them. That's a good point. All right, Missy, thanks so much.